All right, Steve, we gotta put this on. No, we gotta put it on. All right, can you just put this on? Come on. Rex is over here waiting. All right, are you with the program now? Rex, are you ready to go? All right, Rex, you just start the way. You lead the way, Rex. All right, good. It worked. Whew, that old expression, herding cats. 34 degrees. I think this thing's running a little warm, to tell you the truth. Look at that barometer, 30.86 and rising. We have one of the highest pressure systems you can get here in the Northeast. And it's a 1050 millibar high. We're still on the front side of it. See those isobars on the right? They go clockwise around. And so that's why we still have wind coming from the north. Underneath the center of that high, that's where it's calm, and that's where we'll be tonight and tomorrow night. All right, so we're out the door. I had to kind of reestablish the ice bucket a little bit yesterday. It melted a little bit. So not only do we get to watch the ice and measure the ice in here, there's another display of science. The spring effect, waves. Watch. You can only pressure something so far before it snaps back the other way. And that's how the weather works, and that's how the weather forecasts work. They keep going back and forth and back and forth. I think it's Le Chatelier's principle. The flag does the same thing, back and forth, back and forth. The waves down in the water, same thing. And thank you, viewers, for pointing out that those ducks were common eiders. I don't know, they're down there somewhere. Where to start? I will start by finding out where Steve went and talk about what happened in the sky last night. I was wrong. I was off by a day saying that the moon was next to Jupiter last night. That's going to be tonight. Last night, the moon was above Jupiter, and Michael Beck went out there with his camera. Incidentally, this is what his camera looked like this morning, all frosted up on the tripod. He was out in the middle of the night because not only was he shooting the moon and Jupiter, but he was out there on a mission to get the Geminid meteors in the sky last night. And he said you had to go out and wait for just about a minute or two, and then the meteors all showed up. Well, they were out there. You just had to adjust your eyes. So thank you, Michael Beckster. You can find him on X in Connecticut last night. So tonight's going to be another equally gorgeous night with the moon and right next to Jupiter this time. Venus setting in the west in the evening. All right, so that's last night. What about this morning? This morning, locally, was in the 20s. It was still windy. You know, the places that get the coldest are with radiational cooling, and especially if there's some snow on the ground. There was some record challenging cold, but I don't think we had set any records. But the coldest spot I could find was 4 below zero in northern New York. I had to Google it. I can't remember the name of the mountain I came up with. Essentially, it's the Nordic area. Mount, it starts with an H. I can't pronounce it. It's the Nordic area where they had the Olympics at Lake Placid. That's the bottom line, and they got a great webcam, and you can go put that in and find it and look at that webcam. And they're making snow this morning. It was 4 below zero there at Lake Placid this morning. And that was the cold spot underneath the center of the high. Now, locally, it stopped snowing, although, you know what? It stop snowing. Eric Whaler, well, that's his name. His handle is Whaler. Eric Slayson in Sugar Hill at Polly's Pancakes this morning. He said it was snowing. Does this count as day 17 in a row, New England snow? He follows along with my streak counts. Well, I guess technically it does, Eric, but I was kind of talking more about accumulating snow. And where the snow has been accumulating for the most part since November 21st. I went back and added it all up. Finally, the solar-powered cam at Wildcat came on this morning. Had to be patient. And Mount Washington has had 55 inches of snow since November 21st. It's only not snowed 2 days since then. And I think it snowed pretty much every day since Thanksgiving, including that rain day. Top of Mount Washington this morning has gone back above zero, just barely, and we're going to see the inversion forming. The wind is going lighter today. And so now moving forward, we've talked about how this is going to be Steve-centric, talking about the forecast right through Christmas. Not this Steve. Steve, can you look at the camera? Please, for a second. Thank you. I'm talking about Steve Turnblom, a friend and He's got a great webcam in his backyard there in Shrewsbury this morning. It was a heavy frost, and there's ice, still not safe looking, but maybe tonight. It was 14 this morning. Tonight probably gets down to an equal temperature. So tomorrow the kids may be able to skate on that ice. It only takes a couple of inches of ice on a small little backyard pond. Some of those backyard rinks are probably getting skated on today, the ones that only need an inch or two of ice, especially central and northern New England. Satellite image this morning shows the interesting sky wave. Look at the serpentine shape in the air flowing east of Cape Cod with the ocean effect clouds. Isn't that fascinating? And then if you look closely, you can almost make where there is snow on the ground in New England from about just south of Lake Winnipesaukee to about Sebago Lake, and especially the higher elevations. You did see, though, in Sugar Hill, there was no snow on the ground in the lee of the presidentials. When I say the lee, I mean when these storms come in with wind from the east side of the presidential range gets snow and the west side does not. And there's always that little gap in the snow from Sugar Hill and Littleton into the Northeast Kingdom. Linden State, we called it the hellhole effect because it would snow so hard all around us, but not snow there. That's a subject for a different day. The snow guns are on at all the ski resorts. More are opening up. I hear that Blue Hill has some terrain open this morning at the base of Blue Hill. All right, so Steve-centric forecast. Let's look at the Steve, Turnblom, and folks in Shrewsbury. Now, I choose Shrewsbury not just because Steve is there, but because it's a pretty central location when you're making a New England forecast. It's very close to where the rain-snow line is. And you can see there's a warm-up coming in with some raindrops Monday, maybe starting with some snowflakes. Tuesday, we get into the lower 50s, and then a cold wave, the snap back of the spring. The cold wave comes back, and as it happens, there is a storm or two or three coming right over us, and one may be all rain on let's see, well, Tuesday's definitely rain. And then Thursday, probably rain and or snow right on the line there in Shrewsbury on Thursday into Friday and the weekend. And then a serious cold snap back next weekend. So there's a nice rhythm, a wave there, where it does warm up towards Christmas now on the very right-hand side there. It doesn't show any precipitation, but we'll see about that. We only trust forecasts out, we only trust them for a day or two, but we talk about them for 10 days out. And so now let's go to the big picture this morning. The satellite imagery shows the storms off the East Coast and one down there near the Azores. What's going on down there? I don't know. I'm not going to look at that. But then there's a vigorous system in the middle of the nation here in the United States, and that's our next weather maker. It's going to be weakening, but that was some nice dose of snow there in Utah. Alta looks like they had a half a foot or 10 inches. They said it overachieved. That's going to limp in here on Monday. And then on the West Coast, looks like dual cyclones coming in. One coming in off Washington, where Leavenworth, Washington. A lot of beautiful snow shots coming out of there yesterday. And then another one there on the California coast. Now, this California coast one, that is heavy duty. I mean, that warranted a tornado warning this morning in San Francisco. How often does that happen? And that is going to be feet of snow around Tahoe. And those two systems coming on the coast now with a faster flow across the United States. We always talk about how it generally takes 3 days for these systems to cross the nation, and that's about what it looks like too. Those are going to arrive here. Well, one's going to come in on Tuesday, and then there's going to be one after another coming at us every 36 hours for a very challenging forecast. So let's get to that challenging forecast using our Euro from pivotalweather.com. And there is our close to record high barometer, 1050 high, confluence aloft that causes the air to converge and push down. And that's one of the contributors to high pressure and sinking air and sunshine for a real pretty wintry feel this weekend in New England. The backside, that trough is kind of weakening and dampening and coming right over, maybe a few snowflakes and raindrops here, especially Connecticut, Western Massachusetts Monday morning. And that's the leading edge of warmer air. And then low pressure is going to our north on Tuesday. That's high confidence with Monday night, early Tuesday rain showers ending. And then the front kind of drooping slowly south through New England, and one after another system coming in off the Pacific and racing across the nation. And look at this, just cold enough. Now it's Wednesday night. We always talk about it, it's a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. Wednesday night at 10 p.m. There's our, what is it now, 1,000 millibar low, looking quite similar to how it did 48 hours ago, with a dose of rain and snow in New England, with that rain-snow line right over Shrewsbury. This is a fast mover, but it looks like a few inches of snow for our ski areas. I think we're getting a little more confident as we get closer, and that signal has returned. And I looked at the other models. The GFS is actually a lot warmer, so I look at the GFS for short range, and then the Euro here for a longer range, big picture stuff. I trust it a little bit more. And then we'll put that back in motion, and that takes off on Thursday, and another system's coming at us, and then we have to stop it again now. What is this? I think this is Saturday, 1 a.m. Boy, they're coming fast and furious late in the week. And there's a looking like a very similar setup to December 5th, when I was surprised by my first snow. We have primary low going into Ontario and Quebec. It's deepening 998, and it looks like there's going to be a secondary developing in the Gulf of Maine, and it's cold. We have the 534 thickness over us, even though it shows green, rain east of Cape Cod. That was snow back on December 5th when it was all forecast to be rain. Well, Cape Cod it was rain, but again, this is a fast mover, and much like what happened after December 5th, it's going to strengthen to our northeast, and then here's next weekend, the weekend before Christmas, and we're looking at cold air advection, a lot of isobars, windy and cold, a little bit like yesterday and today, but probably colder. And we had seen the 486 number, and now it's more like 498 and 510. So that is Arctic air. I had to slow that down to explain all that. And then that pulls out after a very cold next Saturday and Sunday. Weather has rhythm, a lot like what's going on this weekend. And then if we stop it at 240 hours, that is now Monday, 7 p.m., December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and it shows another low over the Great Lakes states, and the high pressure is kind of divided, a little bit of a high to our south, another bit of a high over Ontario. If that high to our south wins, that would be a sort of a warmer chance of rain more than snow coming in for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. If that high to the north wins out and that low moves a little faster, a little further south, then we're looking at more probability of snow than rain. But there's definitely a lot of action. What's that, about 4 different weather systems coming at us between now and Christmas. And so will Steve and Shrewsbury have a white Christmas? I would say the odds, yesterday I called it 50-50. I'm going to say 55% to 45% today. And we're going to play this game all the way through until we get to Christmas. All right, that's the end of the weather forecast part. Watching this waves and the sinking air. And where's T-Rex? T-Rex is up waiting to go in the door. Steve is just kind of sitting in the sun. I thought maybe we'd have some ice on the rocks this morning, but the tide's going the wrong way, and we didn't get into the teens. You really got to get into the teens to get ocean ice. Or, well, this isn't the ocean, it's the Fore River, and the water temperature's in the 40s. But some of those backyard ponds, we'll be skating on them. And the Inmore yesterday, I walked around, I went outside, and I rebuilt the ice bucket a little bit, strengthened it so it would work through Christmas, and also went around, and I made a mistake about Jupiter being next to the moon, so in more I'm like all confused, and that's rightly so, because I had the wrong night. Jupiter's going to be next to the moon tonight. We have the Geminid meteors, and it should be really pretty, so we'll be, I don't know, I think we might go to Plymouth today, so maybe we'll have some sights and sounds from southeastern Massachusetts. And what was that? I just heard a song sparrow, but I have my noise-canceling microphone, so you probably couldn't hear it. And more from yesterday. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I mentioned Steve-centric, but come on, Steve. I mean, you gonna help me edit now too, or what? What are you doing? Steve. All right, 1 o'clock. Cold air advection continues, but the breeze is pretty sturdy. Huh, Rex? Come here. And so our ice bucket kind of the ruler tipped. We want to keep it straight up, so we've got a little flexibility here right now because it's like 35 degrees. And we're going to straighten it back up. We should be able to keep it straight through the weekend with the freeze coming in. Straighten it a little more. All right, Rex, come on, this way. We can go in now. It's cold outside. Out that door, Rex. You want to go out this door too? Okay, just in time to watch the sun go down. Bruce pointed out that the sunsets are getting later. Thanks, Bruce, for reminding me. There's the moon. It's going to be right next to Jupiter. And yesterday the sunset here in the Boston area was 4:11 and some change. And today the sunset in Boston is 4:12. Woohoo! But sunrises are also getting later, so the days are still getting shorter. Boats coming home from work on a very chilly Friday. T-Rex taking us on a walk to catch the sunset. Clear sky, sinking air. As far south of the Four River Bridge as it's going to get. It starts going to come back to the right. Good one, Rex. Should we look for some Christmas lights tonight, maybe? For some more and more? Show them what I taught you when you were a little puppy. How to walk this wall. Yeah. Just in time. There goes the sun. Orange apparition of the iPhone and the very low tide. May have some ice on the rocks tomorrow morning. Did we have ice on the rocks this morning, T-Rex? It's funny, we can go up the hill and then the sun is back. What do you think, Rex? Up the hill further? Yeah. Up Great Hill. The moon's up there somewhere. Yeah, you blend with the leaves. Can't let you out of my sight. There's the sun still just above the horizon, actually a little more above the horizon as we get up the hill. And I think I saw the moon and a squirrel. I was hoping to get the squirrel and the moon the same shot. Huffing and puffing. There it is. I think Mitt just pulled his seniority, pushed Steve out of the way. Just back from the walk with Rex. It's freezing. Pretty plain, just lights. The tree, it's a real tree. And a Maine Coon. Oh, cuddly. Steve. Not quite time for live at 5 just yet, WZLX, but there's Venus, some of the lights and the Smiths. There's some of the ice. See, when you live on the hill after a rainy period, the water keeps coming down the hill. Nice looking fence here. And then we come over here. Nice, beautiful Christmas lights. That's the festive of lights. Sometimes it's Hanukkah, but these dark evenings. This is more serious water here because it keeps coming out of the hill. So we got a bit of a glacier building going on in our neighborhood. Yeah, quite slick. It's kind of literally coming out of the ground. And then there's Charlie's lights, and he's got a nice looking Christmas tree up. Charlie, hey. And then we got a street light, kind of getting out of the way of the street light. Then there's a planet next to the street light. Not sure which planet it is. And then there's the moon, which we can't see very well. And Jupiter, I think, is so close to the moon, we can't see it because of the moon's light. Try that again later, maybe. And I think maybe we'll just lift some more Pop's Christmas music and show the day time lapse. First day with sunsets getting later. 4:12. Bring my skates over here. So yeah, you can see the water still coming out of the ground right here.